Greetings. Today we're gonna do a very short video, and we're gonna teach you about good herbal medicine. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna look today at some plants that can be used in the flu season. Yeah, we call them antiviral plants. You know, some of them is antiviral. They have antiviral activity. Some have antibacterial activity. We're gonna teach you how they work, and then you have to learn in my medicine. If you have a cold or a flu, we have to know which is the main herb, which is the supporting herb, which herb we're going to use as the assisting herb to assist the supporting herb, while the supporting herb is assisting the main plant, the main herb. That's good herbal medicine. So a lot of people are on the internet talking about herbs and pushing herbs together. It don't work like that, you know. You have to know how the herbs work. You have to know the energy of the individual. You have to know the energy of the plant. And you have to know, especially when you have troubles in the lung, what the condition of the lung is and what herbs can fit or deal with that condition of the lung. So you have a dry and a damp condition of the lung. You have a hot and damp condition of the lung. You have a hot and dry condition of the lung. And you have a dry and hot condition of the lung, and you have to know what herbs to use there, because you have lots of companies having these plants out there for a lung formula, but they only have ho hum, mullein leaf, elecampane. That's all they have. But you have to know what is going on with the lung in order for you to use the right plant for the lung. So what we're going to do today, we're going to look at some plants that help with the flu and viruses. Because we know for a fact, and no doctors could do that either, that if you have a strong immune system, a virus can come in, but when it comes in, it meets IgG, IgM, IgA, all the antibodies, and they hold these viruses. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. When the virus comes into the system, how the body reacts to a virus, and how we humans can prevent the virus from getting into our cells to duplicate himself. That's what we're going to talk about tonight at Ambrosia at 8 p.m. live video, YouTube and Facebook. So let's look at a few herbs first, yeah? First we're going to look at elderberry and elderflower. Elderberry, wonderful plant. It is very important for the immune system because it has lots of vitamin C. It has antiviral proteins. Elderberries do, you find them in syrup too. It have lots of flavonoids, and what these flavonoids and elderberry do, they keep the capillaries in the eye strong. While doing what? While stabilizing your mast cells. Because we know for a fact that once you have inflammation, the mast cells release lots of histamine that cause inflammation. But the elderberry stabilize these mast cells so they don't cause what? Lots of inflammation. Very important to know. Yeah? But they also have lots of flavonoid, which is good for the eyes. So if you have bad glaucoma, you have cataract, you have retinitis pigmentosa, you can use elderberries with marigold. You have lots of lutein. You can use it with eyebright. You can use it with bilberry. You can use it with blueberry. You can use it with chrysanthemum and even lycium fruit, because they have a lot of flavonoids and they help the eyes. But elderberry also is good for the cold and the flu, and it also helps us to stabilize your mast cells, and it's very important for influenza. And I want you all to go and look at what is in the influenza shots. Yeah, don't forget, look it up. Elderflower. Elderflower is also antiviral. Yeah? But elderflower go a little bit more than elderberry because it have a diuretic effect on the kidney. If you have troubles with urine and you want to get rid of excessive amount of water, elderflower works there wonderful. It is also a diaphoretic plant. If you could mix this herb elderflower with peppermint or spearmint, it will make you sweat, you know, and that's very important. It's also good for cold and flus. It's good for ulcers. It's good for bed sores. It's good for impetigo. It is good for children also. And if you can mix this herb with peppermint and wild cherry bark and echinacea and hyssop, is very important for your children when they have cold and flus. Don't forget that. And it can also work for what we call intestinal viruses. Let's go to the one called St. John's wort. This herb is called olive leaf. And olive leaf is an antiviral plant we use for herpes. We use it for hepatitis B, hepatitis C, megacegamegalovirus. It's good for HTLV virus, human T-cell lymphoma virus. But it is also important for the heart when you have high blood pressure. It is in my heart formula, yeah? But olive leaf extract is antiviral, but it works better with other plants that have antiviral activity. And what we do is we can change the herbs around to fool the virus. When the virus is getting used to what we are doing, we change the herbs to a different set of herbs so we can fool the virus, and then we can kill the virus in the process, okay? St. John's wort, another herb again. It has lots of flavonoids. It is antiviral. It is anti-inflammatory. It is good for mild to moderate depression, not severe depression. Don't forget, not severe depression. It is good for what? For mild to moderate depression. Yeah? It is also good for troubles in the liver. Yeah? GI or hepatic. It is also anti-anxiety. This herb have a compound called hyperacin oil, and it helps with the nerves. It strengthens the nerves. It is good for spinal injuries. It is good for shingles, and it is very significant for nerve pain by using that oil called hyperacin oil. Okay, don't forget the herb. It's called St. John's wort. A lot of people in the Caribbean use this herb for women when they have a period to build the blood. Okay, it's called St. John's bush in Grenada. But this herb is very significant for herpes and other viruses. Yeah? Let's go to sage. Now, in Grenada, we have black sage, and in the Western herb, we have red sage, and then we have white sage. Black sage is similar to the red sage, but the black sage is more going to working on the urinary system. This one right over here, it works more on the urinary system, but it's also good for cold and flus. The red sage, on the other hand, has antiviral, it have antibacterial, it have carminative, it have anti-gynecological activity, and it is also anti-inflammatory. This one right over here, it's called red sage. It helps to benefit when you have intestinal viruses. It moves or decrease the effect of intestinal viruses. If you can mix this herb with another herb called echinacea, yeah? It is also good for colds. It is also good for sore throat. When you have a sore throat, you can use this herb and mix it with some peppermint oil and gargle with it, or some myrrh tea and gargle with that, with the myrrh, the sage, and the echinacea and peppermint oil, and your sore throat goes away. It is also good for laryngitis. It is also good for tonsillitis. This herb called red sage is also good for postnasal drip when you have sinuses. It is also good for stomach disorders. It is also good for hot flashes in women. And if you have excessive amount of sweating, it also helps the body to stop sweating also. This herb called red sage. It is also good for Alzheimer's disease. And we give it to women who is lactating and want to stop breastfeed. We put this herb together with another herb called bone set, and it stops the milk from the woman's breast. Okay, don't forget the herb. It's called red sage. Next one is called wild cherry bark. And wild cherry bark is very significant because wild cherry bark is very important because it is antispasmodic to the respiratory system. And usually if you have a cough and you have spasm of the lung, we use this plant with a herb called mawang or ephedra, and we can use it with another herb called lobelia or cranberry or black haw, and they all have antispasmodic activity. So it is an antispasmodic to the respiratory system. It's good for coughs. It's good for bronchitis. So when you have a cough and the cough is coming from bronchitis, then we give you that wild cherry bark. It's also good for chest colds. It is good for pneumonia if you can mix it with elecampane and garlic, and you eat lots of garlic. You can fix your pneumonia from just using this particular plant especially if you have what you call walking pneumonia. And it is also good for pertussis, yeah, called whooping cough. And this herb called wild cherry bark is very good for spasm of the diaphragm. So usually when you have hiccups and you have a spasm of the diaphragm, this herb is so significant because it helps to relax the diaphragm, yeah? So it works on the vocal cord. If you have trouble with singing and you lose your voice, we give you wild cherry bark. And it is very important for hiatal hernia when a person have the stomach pushing back up and affecting the hiatal hernia, the esophagus, making it become short, and it give you a hiatal hernia. This herb is good for that if you mix with ginger. And it's also important for chest pain. When you have a cough and the cough is giving you lots of chest pain, go to wild cherry bark, okay? Next herb is called Isatas. And this is a Chinese plant called danlang. It is very important to clear heat, especially from the lung and the liver. And that's why we're going to start having these products. You see it mark here? Liver heat, clear. And that's why you have to learn about herbal medicine, because we have to know when you have heat, when you have coldness, when you have dampness, if you have dryness. Yeah? So Isatas is very important because it clears heat from the blood, plus pathogenic heat. From what? From pathogens or infections. This herb called Isatas, it also antiviral, antibacterial. It is good for influenza when you have the flu. It is good for hepatitis A, B, C. It is also good for painful urine. It is also good for shingles. And it's very significant for herpes simplex 1, herpes simplex 2. And that's why we have it in what we call an antiviral formula. It's called Isatas. Let's go to the next one. This one is called astragalus. And the organ is called Hangqi. Hangqi, the Chinese name for this plant, it strengthens the immune reservoir. This herb called astragalus. It strengthens the immune reservoir. We call the Wequi. And it's very important to for protective energy, what we call the Wequi, protective energy. It rebuilds a depleted immune system, especially if you're taking chemotherapy and it depletes your immune system. You have to use this particular plant called astragalus. It is also good for the lung. It's good for asthma. It is also important for when you have an asthma that is coming from an allergy effect. So if you have a damp asthma attack, it's called allergic asthma. This herb is good for that. It is also good for diabetes, and it's also significant for what? For chronic fatigue syndrome. If you can mix it with some plant for the adrenal like ashwagandha, schisandra berry, codonopsis, it works well for when you have chronic fatigue syndrome, okay? And this is the herb right here. It's called astragalus. And we can put in this herb called Solomon seal. Very significant for the lung also. So these are plants that you can mix together. If you know what's going on with the lung and you have a cold or flu, you can know which herb to use as the main herb, which herb to use as the supporting herb, which herb to use as the assisting herb, and how you mix them together so you can get a better spectrum of that plant. This herb here is called dry Logan Fruit. This have lots of vitamin C. So you should implement this herb in the winter and in the fall and in the spring. It is also an antioxidant. It is very important for your bones. When you have broken bones, if you can mix it with a herb called comfrey and alfalfa, these herbs work on the bone and horsetail. They work on the bones because lots of vitamin C, lots of silica, Logan fruit, and it's very important for your intestines. All right, so these are the herbs you can use if you have any kind of flu. And tonight at 8 p.m. at Ambrosia, we're going to come and talk about when a virus come into your system, how the immune system will what? Will attack the virus and kill the virus. And we're going to teach you what is in the influenza vaccines. Come from the eggs. We're going to teach you what they are. Love. And I hope you all got information. And we're going to teach you a lot about plants for the brain, for the eyes, for the lung, for the heart, for the intestine, for the middle burner, for the lower burner. until you can become your own herbalist or your own doctor in your own right. Blessed love. See you all tonight at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube, talking about when a virus comes into the system, how your immune system responds to that virus before it can get into the envelope of your cell and replicate itself. God is great. The immune system is great. If you can have it, peak to kill for you. Blessed love. Okay.